What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to Getting Technical. Technically, I guess episode 70. We're just doing a short no Burke this week. Just gonna run through the wild card weekend. A lot of good games. So I mean, let's get right into it.
Yeah, man, definitely.
First game, we got the Los Angeles Chargers at the Houston Texans.
I think I got the Chargers by like 17-20. I think it's gonna be a blowout.
I think the Chargers win easily. I mean, I think like if we're comparing the Chargers and the Texans, Chargers are the better quarterback.
Better defense.
They have a much better defense. They have better coaching.
Yep. I mean, and the Texans are hurt. Like, you know what I mean? They only have Nico Collins, like Dell and Stephon Diggs are out for the year. So I think it's not even gonna be close.
But also, like, even when they had everyone this year, I personally kind of think they're a little bit fraudulent. I mean, obviously, when you lose Tank Dell and you lose Stephon Diggs, it's huge. But realistically, like, if we're looking at what the Texans were doing this year, is like they were kind of just getting a little bit lucky. They were never at one point to me like a team that I was like, this team could make a run at the Super Bowl. And I think the Chargers, like, especially with the way Justin Herbert's played this year, their defense, Lad McConkey's breaking out, like, they have an opportunity to make a run. Like, I could easily see the Chargers upsetting, you know, a few teams in the playoffs. I don't even think at this point this would be an upset based on the way these teams are playing. But
yeah, I mean, the only thing is, like, I think they'll win this weekend, but like, I don't want to jump the gun. But then you got to play Kansas City on the road. Like, could be a tough task. But
the Chargers could go and beat Kansas City.
We've seen crazier things.
They could beat Kansas City.
We have seen crazier things. So, yeah, I'm going Chargers though.
Yeah, that one to me. I mean, look, the CJ Stroud could have a great game and they could prove us wrong. But yeah, I think Chargers comfortably. Next game, second game on Saturday, we got the Steelers at the Ravens. I don't think this game's close either.
I mean, I think it could be interesting just because of their rivalry and, like, you know, the Steelers did beat them already once this year, but then the Ravens kind of killed them the second game. So I think the Ravens are going to win. Don't get me wrong. Like, Lamar Jackson is my MVP, obviously, so I'm picking the Ravens. But I would not be shocked if the Steelers somehow pull out like a 17-14 type of win. You know, it's
also
a
like the Steelers they're playing their worst football of the year, and the Ravens, you could make a case for playing their best football of the year.
Yeah,
Lamar's looked really good. Derrick Henry, he had a few down weeks. Derrick Henry looks like, you know, obviously one of the best backs in the world again right now. Like, he's going off. Mark Andrews is back. He's just back. I think he had the most tight ends for a touchdown this season, Mark Andrews, and he didn't have any touchdowns after week 6. Like, going into week 6 or right after week 6, he had no touchdowns.
He had like 11 in like what?
11 weeks.
Yeah, but that's
11 in 11 weeks basically.
People were calling him watch too. Yeah, he's definitely coming to his own. But yeah, I mean, I think the Ravens will win comfortably. I wouldn't be shocked, but if they lose, but you know, Lamar's got to erase this playoff choker like narrative somehow. So I think the Ravens win.
I mean, well, that's the thing too. Like, the conversation is like, if the Steelers do find a way, which, look, like, they're the Steelers. Mike Tomlin is he's always, you know, found ways. If Lamar loses this game, and he wins the MVP potentially, his third MVP, and just continues to just choke in the playoffs. Just brutal. It's almost like if they lose this game, they might have to make like a big change in their organization.
Well, what would that change be though?
I don't know.
Because like,
is it the coaching?
But
is
like,
it the head coach?
Maybe. I mean, like, it depends how they lose it though. Like, if they
at this point, like, to be honest, but like, you're playing the Steelers. Like, the Steelers are like, they have been playing bad football.
Like, you're more talented than them.
More talented in every facet of pretty much. They're obviously they have a better defense, but Russell Wilson and Lamar are not comparable. If you look at Derrick Henry to Najee Harris, it's not comparable. Right. And then even the wide receiver core, like George Pickens, is good.
He's all right.
But like, there's Pat Freiermuth. But it's like, bro, you're talking about Mark Andrews, Zay Flowers, Rashad Bateman, Isaiah Likely. Like, as much as some of those guys don't have the big names, like, they've been producing all year for the Ravens. So, like, I just think it would be a disaster if they lose this game. I don't think they lose it. I think they win convincingly. But just to me, like, if Lamar does not come through or the Ravens just something happens and they lose this game, I think at that point, like, you've had this core and you've had this coaching staff for a long time, and you haven't done anything with it.
Yeah.
At least recently in the playoffs.
Right.
I don't know. Like, there's really no other moves to make.
I don't.
They're not going to replace Lamar no matter what.
Right. I don't want to think about that though. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I just refuse to believe Lamar will be a one and done. You know, he's just too good. They're gonna win. I'm like 99% sure of that.
All right. So going into Sunday, next two games we got the Broncos at the Bills. This to me is another game. Josh Allen has not been a playoff choker. Josh Allen's a playoff riser. He's always played great. His defense has let him down. At Buffalo against a rookie, I don't know, bro. Bo Nix has been really good this year, but there's just no chance this game is close to me.
I'm actually gonna have to disagree. I think the Broncos get it done. I think this is my big shock of the weekend. I think the Broncos defense matches up really well with the Bills. I think their defense is legit. Bo Nix has shown that he can play in big games. He had a 4-touchdown game, 400-yard game last game. I'd say that was a big game, but that wasn't, I mean, it was backups, but it's still an impressive performance. So I think Denver matches up really, really nicely, and I think the Bills are a little overrated. They did beat the 2-1 seeds, but I'm going Broncos here. I think they shocked the world this Sunday.
I mean, it's just kind of another thing. It's like, if you look at the Bills, and the Bills and the Ravens are both comparable in the fact that, if they don't make a run this year, there's going to probably have to be a change somewhere, because both teams are kind of they have, the second and third debating on where you put Joe Burrow quarterback in football. They both have a top 4 quarterback in football. They both have had a coach who's been there for a long time. They've been really successful in the regular season, but they have not gotten it done in the playoffs. And if this year, again, they either have a first-round loss. I think the first-round loss to me is, absolutely. If that happens, something is going to change. If they one of them loses, a shootout or a heartbreaker to the Chiefs, that's one thing. You take that kind of with a grain of salt because it's Mahomes, but anything else that happens, they lose to anyone else outside of the Chiefs, either of those teams, at some point you got to try something new.
Well, let's just say they both win this weekend, though. They would play each other next week. And then you're saying the loser of that game should get fired? Because, it would be John Harbaugh versus Sean McDermott, Ravens versus Bills. Let's just say it's a 3 or a 1-possession game.
I'm saying basically if either of these teams lose in the first round, should the Broncos or the Steelers?
I agree.
I agree. Obviously if they play each other, it is what it is. If it's a blowout, I can see it. If the Bills go into Baltimore and blow out Baltimore, I would be surprised if something doesn't change.
The Ravens would go to Buffalo.
I mean, bro, I'm fried, bro. It's 9 o'clock on a Wednesday.
but I get
you know what I mean.
I get what you're saying.
If Lamar walks into fucking Orchard Park in Buffalo, New York, on whatever day it may be, and they get killed, I don't see how Harbaugh stays. At some point, they haven't had, they haven't really built, they brought in Derrick Henry. Zay Flowers has been good, but they haven't really, that's not been something they do often, is go up there at the top of the draft and get an offensive skill player.
Yeah. I mean, no, you're not wrong. But, I don't know. I just think that, because Bills won how many games this year? 13? 14?
13.
13. Ravens won 12.
Yeah.
I don't know if you fire those coaches. That's a lot of wins.
I'm not saying that they're going to fire the coach. I'm just saying if either of these teams, doesn't make it to the championship game or the Super Bowl,
then you got to
it's another year of being one of the best regular season teams, having a quarterback with a top 3 season, and just falling short. And at some point, you can keep doing that and be good, but at some that's just the way sports work. They're gonna make a change. Someone's eventually gonna make a change.
Yeah.
I'm not necessarily saying I agree with it, but if the same thing continues to happen, they're gonna make a change.
Right.
This is the way the game. It's just the way the sport works. But I don't know. I think the Bills and the Ravens both get it done this week.
All right.
So we'll see. Next up, we got the Packers at Philly.
I think this is an interesting one.
Is Jalen Hurts 100% playing?
No, I don't think so.
Honestly, regardless, I think that the Packers win.
Really?
I think the Packers. I think the Packers beat the Eagles this week. I just think like Jordan Love missed a little bit of time in the beginning of the season. He was hurt, but bro, like they're just a good team.
They are. No, they are.
Josh Jacobs has been one of the best running backs in football this year. They have one of those weird wide receiver cores that like they don't necessarily have a star. You can make a case for like Reed, but they really don't have like a true one. But everyone on that team, Dontavian Wicks is good. Tucker Kraft is good. Who am I missing?
Christian Watson.
Christian Watson's good.
Yeah.
Like everyone on that in that wide receiver room or tight end, whatever you want to call it, has been good this year. And on top of that, like they have a great defense.
They do.
They have a great defense. They have great coaching. They have everything. And honestly, especially, I mean, if Jalen Hurts isn't playing, this isn't even like a close game.
I would agree with that. If Jalen Hurts is out, I think the Packers I think they barely win by like. I think they win.
Wait, you think if Jalen Hurts is out, the Packers barely win?
Yes.
I think they win regardless.
No, I think the Eagles with Jalen Hurts I think they'll win comfortably. But because I think the Eagles defense to me is so good. And you know they're gonna have a rested Saquon, rested starters. You know Jalen Hurts is still a top 10 quarterback, I guess. You know, like I think, and let's just say for me, if Philly loses this week, I think Sirianni's got to get fired. Like
100%. That's not even up for debate at this point.
Yeah, like even though I think they had 14 wins, like you got to fire him if he can't make the conference championship with this roster with a Saquon Barkley with a good defense.
But that's what I'm saying, bro. Like these playoffs have so many implications for some of these teams.
They absolutely do.
Because if you look at the Ravens, you look at the Bills, you look at the Eagles, even the Rams, like with McVay, like they've been like pretty mediocre for a while now. Like any of these teams, if things like go terribly wrong and they do nothing in the playoffs, like there's probably going to be a change to some of these teams as far as head coach, GM, whatever it is. Like I think their quarterbacks are all going to stay the same, unless the Rams decide to move over Matt. But I don't know, dude. Like there's a lot of stuff on the line for a lot of these teams. And windows are short. A lot of these teams are really good right now. You see the Commanders are coming in. The Broncos are only going to get better.
Yeah.
The Chargers, I think, are only going to get better. Even the Texans, like they've been a little weird this year, but they still have C.J. Stroud. Like there's a short window for all these teams, and if you don't capitalize,
I mean, making the playoffs is like it's a prime opportunity. Like you're one of 14 teams, like you one upset and you're talking about possibly playing for a conference championship the next week. Like it's very slim margins here. That's why the NFL is the king. Anything could happen. But I don't know. I'm going Eagles here. I don't know.
Right. I'm gonna go Packers.
All right, he's gonna be able to carry him.
My gut says the Commanders.
Wow.
I think I'm gonna go Commanders. I think it's a close game. I could easily see the Bucs winning, especially with how good Bucky Irving's been. But I don't know, bro. Like that connection. I know it screwed fantasy owners in the last week. But Jaden Daniels and him and Terry have been crazy this year. I like. I don't know. I like the Commanders. I think like there's something about Jaden Daniels where I trust him to just get it done. I don't know why.
You think he has that X factor? That dog in him?
Yeah, bro, he's a stud. But I also think Baker's really good. So I don't know. It's a toss up for me. To me, that's probably one of the few. The Packers game and I think this game are probably my two the two games that I'm like, okay, like I have no idea what's gonna happen.
Yeah, I mean you're picking. If you pick the Packers and the Commanders, you're picking the 7 and the 6 seed.
Yeah.
To both pull up upsets.
But also, to me, the Bucs, like they haven't. It's not like they've had this season where they're this really intense. Like if you're looking at either of these, I think both teams would rather play the Bucs and the Eagles.
Yeah, of course. Oh, of course.
Definitely. So it is what it is. But yeah, I'll go with the Commanders. And then the last game Monday night, another toss up, kind of. I don't know, the Vikings and the Rams. Honestly, I don't see how the Vikings lose. Just because their defense, the Rams have had some amazing weeks. They went off against the Bills. Puka's been really good this year. But, and Kyron's obviously been amazing. But, bro, Cooper Kupp has just, kind of disappeared and no one's talked about it.
Yeah, no, I was thinking that the other day. You don't hear, it's the Puka show, and then Cooper's just been, remember that game where he had zero, targets, zero catches or something like that?
Bro, insane. Look at these are, let's see, these are the last few games. Bro, these are his last 5 games. his last 3 games, I'll just say. His last 3 games are 0 receptions for 0 yards, 3 receptions for 24 yards, and 1 reception for 29 yards.
Yeah, that's...
Like, that is not... Even if you go back to the beginning of the season, bro, the first game of the season, he had 14 receptions.
He
obviously battled injuries and stuff this year, but just, like, a really weird year for him, and it was, like... It looked like in the beginning of the season that he was going to be having, like, one of those crazy years. Then he got hurt, and then... It's clearly Puka's offense. Like, Stafford trusts Puka more than Cooper Kupp.
Absolutely.
Obviously, like, Cooper Kupp's getting kind of old, but I don't know, bro. Like, their offense is so hit or miss also. Like, and I don't see how they're going to, be able to get consistent offense against the Vikings. Like, I think the Vikings have one of the top 3 defenses in football.
Absolutely, yeah.
If not better. And I don't trust the Rams defense to really stop, like, what they've... I think it becomes a Justin Jefferson show.
Mm-hmm.
I think he kind of just shows out. I think Sam bounces back because people, bro, like a lot of people, and I mean it's true. Like people were talking about how Sam Darnold lost all this money in that last game of the season where they kind of he got killed by the Lions.
He missed some throws. He did miss some like easy.
He missed
throws.
Some touchdown throws for sure.
Yeah.
But bro, like everything in the NFL and football and all sports today is like it's all recency bias. It's what have you done for me lately?
Right.
If he goes out there and wins even one playoff game, if Sam Darnold wins this weekend, like everyone's gonna forget the week he just had. If he has a good week, they're gonna be like, oh, whatever. He played a really good team. His first playoff appearance. If he has, a good week, it's all like it's not gonna matter. Right. So I don't know. I don't see the Vikings losing this game. What do you think?
I'm gonna go Vikings. I don't like the matchup for them. I mean, they're a 14-3 team. They should have a bye, but
it sucks.
I know, right? But no, yeah. I mean, like just for the reasons you said, like I think the Rams defense isn't gonna be able to contain the Justin Jefferson, and the Vikings are, even though their defense is top 3, they have a good offense as well.
Yeah, so I mean, Sam has been. I think he's like top 5 in yards this year.
Yeah,
like
he's Pro Bowler.
He's been good. Aaron Jones is good. Cam Akers has been pretty good for them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But yeah, Jettas and Addison, 2 studs, and then you got Hawkinson. Who's also really good.
Yeah. So
is it Naylor who's been good for them?
Yeah, he's been the wide receiver 3.
They've been really good all year, bro. Like obviously they had a bad week last week, but they were in Detroit.
Right.
It was in Detroit.
Yep.
In Detroit, a road game on Monday night. It's a tough game, but
it's tough. But no, yeah, I think the Vikings will win comfortably. I think it'll be. So I'm gonna do a score prediction. I think it's gonna be something like 28 to like 10, something like that. Where it's not like the game's gonna be up by the end of the third quarter, in my opinion. But yeah, I'm going Vikings.
Cool. I mean, you want to make a Super Bowl prediction?
You mean for each conference?
No, like who do you? I mean, you can. Who do you think's gonna be in the Super Bowl? Who do you think is gonna win the Super Bowl?
I'm gonna go. I think it's the Lions in the NFC, and I'm gonna go with the Ravens in the AFC, and I think it's the Lions' year. I think it's just like they're gonna be playing extra hard because they know they're gonna lose both coordinators to head coaching jobs. Like this is it for them. This is what they built up. This is their year.
That's necessarily true.
I think they're gonna lose both of them.
You think both of them will go?
Ben Johnson's a lock to go.
Yeah, for sure.
I think everyone's talking about Aaron Glenn, man. Like he's like the number 2 option in so many people's.
I mean, he should be
bubbles. So like, yeah, I really think, and even if it's not, like you're losing one of the guys. So like, I just think that this is their year. They're gonna put it together. David Montgomery's coming back. I mean, I think coming back first round, like divisional. They announced it like yesterday.
Can I make a hot take? I think that is not a good thing for the Lions.
Why not?
I think, and we saw obviously 4 touchdowns last week. I think Jahmyr Gibbs is so talented, and I think that during the playoffs, he really should. It should, if Montgomery's back and he's healthy, like it should be a 70-30 split with at least Jahmyr getting 70. Like
for sure,
Jahmyr Gibbs takes the Lions' offense to a level that, as much as Montgomery's been great for them, he can't do. Like he's just more of a dynamic play. Like he's got that big play potential. Obviously Montgomery does too, but there's something different about Gibbs, and he also, as a pass catcher, what he gives them, like he takes their offense to another level. And while it's nice to have someone steady to also be able to, have in there like Montgomery, bro, like their ceiling is so much higher when Jahmyr Gibbs is in the game all the time. And we saw that this week against, they played a 14-2 Vikings team, and they dismantled them. And who was the catalyst? It was Jahmyr Gibbs, bro.
Yeah.
He had 4 touchdowns. And I believe he started off the game with 6 rushes for 0 yards.
Yeah, something like that. Something crazy.
And then he had like a 25-yard touchdown run. Like he's their best playmaker on the team. I know Amon-Ra's like great. J-Mo's great.
He's
but
better.
Bro, like he is the game changer for them. It's Jahmyr Gibbs, and if he needs to have as many touches as possible, and the more touches he has, the more successful they're going to be. Which is why I think the Lions will win the Super Bowl. Also,
Hey.
I think it's the Lions year. Especially, doesn't Aiden Hutchinson come back if they make a deep playoff run?
I think they said something about that.
I heard like
Yeah.
Super Bowl.
Something like I wouldn't play him, but yeah,
mean,
if you want
if
to
they're
play,
in the
yeah,
Super
play.
Bowl and he can play, he's gonna play. I think I'm gonna go Bills. I'm gonna pick the Bills.
Really?
I don't know if I believe it. I'm just gonna say it.
Okay.
But I'll go Bills Lions Super Bowl. But yeah, I think Lions win. I think they're the best team this year. As long as Jared Goff is pretty good and they're able to get the ball to Jahmyr Gibbs, get the ball to Amon-Ra, and also one of the cool things about the Lions is like how they use like the lateral and all these things. Like they have a lot of creative play calling, and obviously it's Ben Johnson.
Ben Johnson, man, he's a twisted football mind, but it's awesome.
I think the only thing that could hold them back is just stupid decision making from
Dan Campbell. No, you are absolutely right, because in that Vikings game, he went for it on like 4th down, like 2 straight times. I was like, bro, kick the fucking field goal. Like it's something in his head. Like it doesn't make sense. I'm like, this is just logical. You go up 3 scores if you kick this field goal, and he still went for it. And like I think they got it. But like still, dude,
being
like,
aggressive in the regular season against teams that aren't that good is worth it. It's worth it.
Yeah.
But when you're in the playoffs and you're playing talented teams with great offenses, great coaching staffs, like one of the things to me, like if you even watching that Vikings game, like the Vikings went for it when they could have had a field goal, and this was when the game was close. They didn't convert. Next time down, they kicked the field goal and they made it. And I think it was at that point, I want to say it was 16-12. Something like that.
Okay.
But if they had kicked the field goal, it's a 1-point game.
Yeah.
Then you could win by a field goal. Instead, now you're down by 4. It's a weird scoring system. And obviously the game got away from them. But it's like, bro, if you just kicked the field goal, it was a chip shot field goal.
Right.
I know they don't have a great kicker. He's a rookie, I think. They don't fully trust him. Mm-hmm. But it's like, bro, like these are like the things that make a difference. And that's what Dan Campbell needs to like just do. Like, I understand, having, a touchdown is better than having a field goal.
But it's still points.
Exactly.
It's still, it accumulates at the end of the game.
That's the thing, bro. It accumulates. And I admit, like, prisoner of the moment, like, you think about it, and you're like, they just got those 7 points. 3's nothing. But then you're like, oh, shit, if they ended up getting that field goal, and on top of the field goal they just got, oh, shit, it's 6 points. And they're in the game, and they're up by 2, instead of being down by, 5, whatever it would be. But I don't know. I think he's a good coach, and I think like he brings like that good, he has the passion and everything. But bro, some of the decisions he makes are just so dumb, and they're like, I don't know. It would suck for him and that whole team if one of his like crazy decisions was the reason that they lose the Super Bowl.
I mean,
or lose in the playoffs on their on their way to the Super Bowl.
I think I don't know. I think Dan Campbell's got to take a look at it. Like on this bye week, just take a look at the mirror and be like, listen, don't do anything stupid, and you will win the Super Bowl. Because you guys are talented
or at
enough.
least have a good chance at winning the Super Bowl.
You'll. I think they're definitely gonna make it. I don't see who would beat them personally. Maybe like the Vikings if they somehow.
I mean, they just
upset.
dismantled the Vikings. The Packers.
Yeah.
I think the Packers and the Eagles probably have the best chance.
You're really on the Packers. You're really.
Please, you like the Packers this year? I like the Packers a lot.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I'm picking them to beat the Eagles. I think.
I like that.
Oh, they're good. They're better than their seeding.
They are. No, they absolutely are. It's just
2 weeks ago, they barely lost to the Vikings, who were 14-3. Like, they're gonna play any team close. And if they win and upset Philly, do they get a home game? No, right?
who? No,
They don't get a home game no matter what.
They would automatically play the
road game, right?
Lions.
Their way all the way.
Yeah.
Like no,
Which is a huge. Honestly, that is a huge thing. Like if they were able to be one of those higher seeds and people had to go through Lambeau, that changes a lot of things. On the road, they're not as scary, but I don't know, bro. Josh Jacobs has been going crazy.
He is, but like
They're good, bro.
I
They're
think
well coached, also.
They are. I really like LaFleur. He'll be there for at least a decade.
Yeah.
But
I mean, I don't know. We'll see.